Great. I don't want to start the teachy till we're up and going. The volume is good? Okay. All right. So we're going to work on the side of the body. We're going to work from in the hip area and the shoulder area to create change in our back. Always go, stay in that place of comfort, so we're not going to the place of pain. And this first part is really simple. Let's start on our side. That is a fluffy blanket. There we go. So I'm going to start with my knees bent at a 90-degree angle. My head is supported. I'm going to scooch my bottom shoulder out from under me. And my other arm is going to lay on top. And we're going to begin with shoulder movement, which is different than arm movement. So I want you to think about your collarbone. You can even touch it for a moment. Feel your collarbone. You know, it starts right in the center. It comes all the way out. And your shoulder blade in the back. Have a sense of your shoulder blade. Let's close your eyes for a moment. And sense your collarbone and your shoulder blade. Where are they? And then you can let your eyes open. We'll begin movement. So we're going to take the shoulder and we're going to bring it forward, like you're moving your shoulder towards your sternum. And then just let it relax back to neutral. See how my arm is just resting on the top. Now I'm going to move my shoulder back towards my shoulder blade. I'm going to hold it there for just a moment and then bring it back to center. Let's do that 2 more times. Draw the shoulder forward, relax your arm, and release. This creates nice change in the neck too. Let the shoulder blade go back, the arm stays relaxed, head stays in place. Relax back in center. Draw the shoulder forward. You can close your eyes, feel what's contracting to make that happen. Rest the shoulder in center. Draw the shoulder back towards the shoulder blade, towards the spine. And relax. Now we're going to go up and down. So I'm going to draw my shoulder up towards my ear and down. Now it's like your armpit draws down towards your waist. And relax. Draw the shoulder up. So the movement is happening from the shoulder. Relax. And the shoulder reaches down. So it's not so much my arm and my fingers, just the shoulder. Relax. One more time, shoulder up. Back to center, soften. Shoulder down. And soften. Now let's move it in a circle. So we're going to go forward, up, back, down. Forward, up, back, down. One more time. This could be done in bed. It's a good thing to do in bed. And then we're going to just bring it up and we're going to come back into the center. Just let it relax back into neutral. Take a breath. Now we're going to move the hip in a very similar way. So imagine that you have like a little pole. Reminds me of like a, you know, like remember Miss Pac-Man? You have the little joystick, like video games, you know. So that we're moving from the hip. I want you to think about your hip going forward. My knee will slide forward of the bottom knee and then come back to center. And then slide the knee back. Create the movement from the hip. My hip draws back and center. If you feel discomfort, don't go so far. Forward, center, draw it back, center. One more time. Forward, maybe close your eyes so you can feel what you're feeling without distraction. Go back to center and then draw it back and release completely. Now take it up and down. So imagine your hip, you can place your hand on your hip is nice. Imagine your hip moving down towards your butt. And when I do that, my lower waist lifts off the ground and let it relax. Now draw that hip up towards your underarm, using the muscles of your waist, and relax. So I'm going to move my hip down, away from the armpit. My waist lifts and relax. Draw the hip towards the armpit. One more time. Move it away. I like to put my hand on my hip. I can really feel it moving away. And draw the hip up towards the underarm. And then relax. And now we're going to move it in a circle. So we're going to go up and forward, down and back, up and forward. Now make sure your legs are relaxed. Relax the leg and let the movement happen from the hip. So it might be a small movement. And if there's a sticky place, try reversing the circle, go the other direction. See if that sticky place changes. Moving from the hip, not your leg. So your leg should not be flailing all around. The leg is relaxed. All right, one more time around. And then you can let that relax. Now we're going to tie it together, the hip, the shoulder, and the hip, and the waist. So we're going to lift the waist, and as I lift my waist, I feel my hip moving down, and I'm going to reach my arm up, and I'm going to extend my leg out. So now I have my hip and my shoulder moving away from each other, and then I'm going to let it relax. And I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to move my hip towards my underarm. So I'm going to hike it up. I can reach down. I could even maybe lift my head. Don't have the head forward, have the head back. Now I am contracting, hip towards underarm, reaching out, and relax. Now I'm going to think about my waist lifting, my hip going out long, my arm overhead. I like to put my fingertips on the floor, and I'm reaching this leg away from my hand. My waist is lifted. Put a breath in that side. The side is getting long, and now we're going to let it get short. Relax. Now we're going to move hip to underarm, hip to underarm. Now I don't have to lift my head. I could lift my head. I could even lift my foot. Some of you know this. You could support your head if you like that better. Holding that contraction. And then I could do one movement with a breath. I could inhale, reach long, and exhale, lift the foot, contract the waist, lift the head. So do what you like. You could just reach out, lift the waist, foot reaching away from the hand. You can relax back into the center. And then you could just go hip to shoulder. You could reach the arm, lift the head. You can lift the foot, lift the head. And you can flow. I'll do it in a flow. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. All right, that's really the last time. And relax. Now while we're here, we'll do a rotation and then we'll flip over to the other side. So I'm going to take my top hand, I'm going to bring it right on top, line my fingers up. My knees are still bent. If you need to put a blanket or pillow between your knees down to your ankles, please do. Now I'm going to reach my top fingers forward, and then I'm going to slide my hand back towards my elbow and let my chest and face open more towards the ceiling. And I'm going to do this about 5 or 6 times. So I'm going to take it slow, reaching out. And as my hand slides back to my armpit, to my waist, chest, I'm just going to keep opening into the twist, a little bit at a time. Exploring. And notice as we're rotating through the shoulders and the chest, what's happening in your legs. Does the top leg slide back as you open into the twist? And does it slide forward as you reach forward? Now, if there's discomfort in the hip, the sacrum, if you're letting your leg slide, try as you reach forward, keep your knee forward, keep your hips where they are, and try the rotation without moving the knee. Both of those are fine. Which one do you like better? I'll repeat that again. I can keep my knee forward, my hip forward, as I open into the twist. Gives me a little bit more twisty feeling in the ribs. Or I can open into the twist and let that top leg slide back. And one more time, and if you like, just pausing in the twist, letting the head rest in a comfortable place. Take a couple long breaths. What can you soften? And can you feel the breath expand into that lung that's facing the ceiling? Yes, we are capable of breathing into one lung. And from here, roll back towards your knees. And then we're going to roll onto our back and pause for a moment. So bring your knees in. And I want you just to lay flat for a moment. If you can, slide your legs out. Rest your arms down alongside the body. I'm going to even take my blanket out from under my head and just notice the right side of the body compared to the left side of the body. Noticing the difference between the two sides. And the side I was moving feels lower. I feel tipped. As we release tension, gravity will be able to pull us differently towards the floor. All right, and then we're going to head on over to the other side. So I'm going to turn around, flip over, turn around, turn my heat up. All right. So you can see this practice, this could be done in bed. And what I love about these practices is, you know, you can really do this. Anybody can do this. Here we go. We have our knees up high. We like our head support. Scooch the bottom arm out away from you. We're starting with the shoulder. My arm rests down alongside the body. I'm not moving from my arm. I am moving from my shoulder. And we're going to start drawing the shoulder forward. You can close your eyes. You know what you're doing now. Feel. And bring it to the center. Now I'm going to draw my shoulder back towards the shoulder blade, towards my spine. And center. Draw the shoulder forward. Maybe close your eyes. We're contracting the front, which has given me a stretch in the back. Go back and relax in the middle. Draw the shoulder back. As I draw the shoulder back, it's squeezing, contracting the back, opening the front. And relax. And again, shoulder forward. Center. Draw the shoulder back, not tipping the whole body, not moving the arm, just the shoulder. And relax. Relax your legs too. I just caught myself tensing up my legs. Let's draw the shoulder up to the ear. Go back into the center. And then take that shoulder, move it down. So I feel length in the top of the neck and a little contraction through the underarm. Release. So good when it's getting cold outside, draw the shoulder up. We tend to do this a lot. And then we relax, and then we draw the shoulder down. And relax, which I can't think of anything we do, one more time, where we're drawing the shoulder down, you know? The shoulders are always up, 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 up. So we're contracting right now to get the muscles to relax more than usual. And then I'm going to contract the underarm. Drawing the shoulder down is going to give me a stretch through the side of the neck. And relax. Now we'll take it in a circle. So let's pull it up, draw it back. Scooch it down and forward. Up and back, down and forward. And then you can change the direction. So we really want the shoulder to just slide and glide, you know? We want it to move. If you get a sticky point, just move, change the direction, move through that area a little slower, maybe close your eyes. And relax, we'll move down into the hip. So I'm moving from my hip, not lifting my legs and moving my legs around. I'm going to move my hip forward. As I move my hip forward, my knee moves, my top knee moves a little forward to the bottom. And then I'm going to go back into the center. Moving from the hip, I'm going to draw it back and center. Move it forward. I get a little stuck. I actually feel it in the bottom leg. And back. Move it back. And center. So if you're feeling discomfort, you know, just create the movement, go slow, be small, and when you bump into the edge of that discomfort, stop. Don't torture yourself. When you come back out of it and you relax into the center, you know, the body feels safe because you didn't go too far. Draw it back, bring it in the center. All right, now my knees are stacked up. I'm going to go up and down. I like down first. It's a little easier to feel. So I'm going to move my hip down. And when I do that, it lifts my waist up. And then I come back into the center. Now I'm going to draw the top of my hip bone towards my armpit. I'm not moving my arm right now. I'm just moving the hip. hip down, center, hip up. Draw it up. So we're using the muscles all through the spine and the waist. Draw it up. Last one. Reach it down. I like that one. And up. Now we're going to take it in a circle. So we're going to pause. And then we can move it forward, down, back, and up. Forward. Place your hand on your hip and see if you're creating the movement. Your legs, let your legs relax. And just create the movement from your hip. We're practicing for our hula dance. We should have all been hula dancers at some point. Change direction. I'm getting a little clicky sensation, a little clicky sound, feeling in that bottom hip. I'm going to go a little slower. Both directions. And then we're going to relax in the center. And we're going to tie it all together. So I'm going to take my hip and I'm going to move it away from my shoulder. I'm going to take my top leg and reach it out, and my top arm, I like to my fingertips if you need to touch the floor. So now my hip and my shoulder is moving up, my hip is moving away, and I'm going to bring it back to center. Relax. Now I'm going to draw my hip towards my underarm. So I can just do it like that. I can reach a little more with the arm. I can lift up my head. Now I'm really getting all of those muscles along the spine. Don't have the head forward, back it up and relax. Extend the leg. I'm really reaching that leg so far and I feel my hip move down. Reach the arm out, breathe into the waist. Feel the waist lifted off the ground. Go the opposite direction. Relax back into the center. Now I'm drawing my hip towards the underarm. I can just stay here. I can add the head. I can add the hand on the head. I can lift my foot away from my other foot. So many options. Now I can keep doing that and I can go nice and slow, or I could go in a flow. I can inhale, reach. Hip is moving away from shoulder. Shoulders coming up into the ear. Inhale and relax. Exhale. Relax, and I can keep it moving. Do what works for you. Inhale. Now I'm just going to take my hand right to my head. Exhale. Do it 2 more times just so you can feel the flow. Inhale. Really reach the hip away. Exhale. Knees together, foot up. Last one, I promise. Inhale. Exhale. And relax. Oh my. Palms together. Now we tie it all together. I'm going to slide my top hand forward, and then I'm just going to move my hand along. I'm going to stop right at my elbow, but feel how the chest and head rotate towards the sky. So we're going to do this, 6 or 7 times. And I can get this movement happening in my shoulders and my torso. Bumping into a little rib cage tension as I open back. But we can also pay attention to the legs. So as I reach forward with my hand, my knee can come forward, my hip comes forward. And as I slide my hand back, I open the chest towards the sky. My hip is going to go back. Shoulder and hip forward. Shoulder and hip back. And then explore as you come forward, shoulder and hip forward. Now keep the hip and knee forward and rotate into the twist. Oh, that helps you find some stiff stuff. I'm going to do that a couple more times, keeping my hip forward, my knee forward. Rotating back into the twist. Now we want to find the stiffness and the tightness, but we don't want to cause pain. So if you have SI joint issues, keeping this knee forward, keeping the hip forward as you rotate will keep you from that SI discomfort. And then when you feel finished with the movement, let's just pause in the twist if that's comfortable for you. And being aware, where is your hip? Your hip can be going forward as your shoulder is going back. And this is what happens ideally when we're walking. Feel the breath in the lung that faces the ceiling. And when you're ready, roll over onto your side. And we're going to come up onto our hands and knees. So take your time rolling over to your side. Do you want to check yourself out and see how you felt? See if you evened yourself up before you get up. All right. Laying on your back. Yeah, when I did the first side, I felt like that side was really lower and the other side was up in the air, and I definitely feel like the whole body is sinking into the ground right now. All right. So let's head over and I want to do a little cat and cow, a little tuck and untuck. That whole routine could be done in bed. You could be done right now. A lot of people say, oh, I like 30-minute classes. I like 1-hour classes. If you like 30-minute classes, you're done. You're out of here. And watch when you're walking. So I began this class and my microphone had a malfunction. And I was recently taking a little hike with my family, and I was noticing it was a little chilly when we started how everyone was walking. And the people that were walking with their hands in their pockets, they had good movement in the legs, but you're not getting that contralateral movement. So when I step forward, my hip is forward, my opposite shoulder is forward. We just did that, shoulder forward, hip forward. And that's the way we get some nice movement in the torso and the waist. But if we're cold and we're holding ourselves, we're keeping all of this very frozen, or maybe you have a weird hip and you walk a little funny. And so this is a great way to just get everything moving. Okay, blah, 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 blah. On your hands and knees, spread your fingers wide, tuck your toes if they do that. Let's go. Inhale, and as you exhale, draw the belly in, round the back, towards the sky, tuck the chin. Saggy cow, lifting the sit bones, droopy spine, lift your face. Forward bending and back bending in the spine. We want that as well, back and forth. See if you can coordinate the breath with the movement. Inhale as you lift your face and butt. And let the movement happen from the belly. Draw the belly button in so strong that it draws your tailbone toward your head. Let the belly relax. Relax your toes. Let's go to cat and stay there. In the cat position, look down and make sure that your knees are separated about a fist width apart. Draw the belly in and nice and slow, move back in space.
drawing the belly in. Then come back to your hands and knees. And let's do that a couple of times as you keep your belly in strong, moving back and forth. I can feel some stretch in the lower back. And we're just going to keep going 1 or 2 more times. And as you like, settling back into child's pose. How deeply can you rest in child's pose? Relaxing through your jaw. Noticing your breath. And when you're ready, come on up and grab your blocks. And let's do a lunge. Pick a foot. Oh, yes. So lunging is the opposite of child's pose. When we're in child's pose, both hip creases are closed. They're short. The psoas is short. When we bring a foot forward to lunge, we're doing this to open up the hip crease. And we move back and forth to loosen up all these tissues in the back of the leg. Nice and slow we glide forward into lunge and back. See if as you go forward and back, once you've checked your good alignment, see if you can keep your head down. As you move forward and back, don't lift your head up. Keep it really, really heavy. Notice how it's getting looser and looser. And when we come forward into lunge, let's stay there. I'm going to make my blocks a little shorter now. And I'm just going to shift the weight of the body from left to right. And it can be very tiny. If someone walked in the room right now, they wouldn't even notice that you were moving. It can be that much of a micro movement. Try a super tiny. Inhale in one direction, exhale in the other. And then pausing in the center, let the head hang even heavier, let the hips sink down. And then we're backing up. Keep the head down, back up your butt. Take your blocks tall. Now we're going to lift the face, lift the toes, wiggle the heel forward. If you're practicing with me, you know we do this all the time. So now we untuck, we move the pubic bone down, we arch the back, it lifts the chest. I bend the ankle deeply so the toes point towards the sky, and I smile because I know I'm doing good stuff for my fascia. Relax the foot, soften out of it so we can visit one more time. Untuck. That means the pubic bone goes down, the back arches, the chest is lifted, the face is lifted, the ankle bends deeply, the toes are to the sky. We take 2 breaths. And then soften out of it. Get out of there. You can shake your hands out if you like. And then we'll head to the other side. Dum, da, dum. Oh. This side is my more challenging side. I hope you started with your easier side as well. Sometimes we get into that mentality. We're going to move back and forth. We get into the mentality of, getting the hard stuff done first. And I agree with that. When you're cleaning your house, definitely start with hard stuff. But when we're practicing, body, changing the body, if we start with the easier side, we're not so emotionally caught up in, how tight, stiff, or painful the body is. So it affects us emotionally. We get calmer because it's easier. And we work with that open side. And everything is connected, right? So changing one side of the body is helping to change the other side of the body as well. All right, now keep your head down. Let's go back and forth a couple more times. Can you keep your head down as you move? Does it get looser and looser? When you're ready to stay in lunge, you can take your blocks a little shorter. And I'm just going to shift the weight of the body. Make sure you're sinking into your lunge. Your shin bone is vertical. And I'm just going to shift the weight of the body left to right. Keep the head down. This can be a micro movement. Try teeny tiny movement. Inhale in one direction, exhale in the other. When you're done, pausing in the center, keep your head down, back up your butt, flip your blocks up tall. Now look at your foot out there, lift the toes, wiggle the foot forward 2 inches, heel. Now lift the face and chest, untuck, move the pubic bone down, bring that arch into the back, bend the ankle deeply, toes to the sky. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Pull that baby toe back. Soften out of it, release. One more time. Untuck. Turn the toes up, bend that ankle deeply. I'm really contracting the top of the foot, stretching through the calf up to the sit bone. We love it. And then relax out of there. Pull your foot back. Okie dokie. Let's head to pigeon pose. And for those of you who don't want to do pigeon pose, this is not one of those times I go, okay, well, you're done. No, you gotta move some piriformis muscle today. So you can do ankle to thigh. You can lay down and you can bring your ankle to your thigh. You can put your foot on a wall. You can put your foot on the floor. You can sit in a chair. You could cross thigh over thigh. If you've been practicing with me, I'm sure you know that pose. And if you're going to pigeon pose, I'm going to use my bolster. Pillows, blankets. But it is a good height. I like the bolster because it's really firm. And it's pretty high. That's like 8 inches. So don't be wimpy with your props. I can put a cheek on the corner. Fold forward and slide the leg back. If I need to intensify it, go a little deeper, then I'm going to bring my thigh onto the support. My knee is off the floor. And notice how I'm bringing my blocks in for under my shoulders, under my forearms. I can support my head.
This should be a stretch down in the glutes. This is a good piriformis stretch. And hopefully the movement that we did in the beginning of class, we were moving the hip up and down and forward and back. And it really gets all these layers of tissue gliding and moving, so our stretch is a little more effective. Last few breaths here. I want you to focus on the exhalations. Notice what you can soften. When you want to come out, bring your back leg forward if you're in pigeon.
If you were doing ankle to thigh, Janu Shirshasana for all of that, I'd give you a gold star. That's a long time to be in that pose. All right, side two. Take your time. And we have established that the two sides can be very different from each other.
Can you support your head? And don't be discouraged if you feel, tension in this area of the body, because these muscles work, the piriformis works to help stabilize you when you're walking. Walking is really a balancing act. When you step on one foot for a moment as the other foot is lifting up and swinging forward, you are on one foot. And that piriformis is helping to keep you stable and upright. So if these muscles get short and tight and we don't feel stable, then we start to take smaller steps and we start to shuffle. We don't want to be a shuffler. Last few exhales, I want you to notice can you soften your shoulders, your jaw, pelvic floor?
And come all the way out. Remember, we want to come out of it from a forward bend. I just bring my back leg forward. And then whatever you were just sitting on, if you were doing pigeon, you were sitting on your blankets. So we're going to sit, side stretch and twist. Mm-hmm. I'm getting better at this. It's only been almost 2 years. Oh, jeez. Some things take time. All right, now we're upright and we want to be sitting high enough that our knees are lower than our hips. So if I put a marble on the middle of my thigh, that marble would just slide right on down off of my knees. So if your knees are up in the air, I want you to go up a little bit higher. Okie dokie, here we go. So let's go right into opening up the shoulders in a side stretch. So I'm going to bring the hand down to the ground and I'm going to swoop the other arm up. And we're going to pause here, reach up to the sky, bring the arm over near the head. Leaning in, lay your head on your shoulder. And now we're in the shoulders and my shoulder is moving away from my hip. And we're going to create this extra movement. I'm going to bend the bottom elbow a little bit and then I'm going to straighten it. I'm going to do that a few times. Bend and straighten. Bend. Earlier we were doing this and we were really using the muscles of the spine to create the movement. Reach. Now let's stay here and rotate the chest a little open towards the sky. When you're ready to get out, the arm in the air leads the way. It goes up and open. Push yourself up, drag the head up last. And let's switch, put the other foot in the front. Head the other direction, bring your hand down. Swoop the arm forward and up, reach up. Shoulder reaching away from hip. Arm near your head, leaning in, head on your shoulder if you can. We're going to create movement, bend the elbow and straighten. Just little bits of movement, bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Last time we stay in it, you can bend, rotate the torso towards the ceiling a little bit, reaching the hand out, take a breath. To come out, the arm in the air, it leads the way up and open. And we push, just drag the head up last. All right. So now we've opened up through the side. Let's open up through the back a little bit more. We'll do your favorite eagle arms. So I'm going to take my hand. Notice which hand you're putting on top. This is my right if you're my mirror. This is your left. I'm going to put this right arm on top. I'm going to swoop around. And now my bottom arm goes up. It holds my top arm in place. And then my top arm goes forward and it wraps around like a twisty tie. My thumbs, if I poke my thumbs out, they should be poking in the same direction. I rotate my thumbs towards my face. My top fingers fold down. And we're going to go rounding the back. I'm going to go draw the belly in, round the back, reach the elbows forward, lower your face, breathing between the shoulder blades. Tip the pubic bone down, feel the spine get long as you're sitting up tall. Take the arms towards the sky. And we can go up and down here. Back up your head. Just moving the arms up and down. And then I can bring them down and I can do little windshield wipers. I can go side to side. I really feel that in my top arm. Pausing in the center. Get out of there when you're ready. Oh my. Now make sure that you put the other arm on the top. So we swoop it around. It's like my fingers are trying to grab those shoulder blades. My bottom arm comes up and my top arm swoops around. My thumbs, if I stick my both thumbs out, they should be moving in the same direction. I turn them towards my face, fold the top fingers down, and now I'm gonna go into the tuck position. I'm gonna draw the belly in, round the back towards the wall behind me. And I feel that my front of my shoulders are moving towards each other, right? Lower your head, breathe into the space between the shoulder blades are moving away from each other. And then move the pubic bone down. Feel yourself sit more upright and we go up and down with the shoulders. So just think about the hands moving up and down. Keeping those thumbs twisted towards your face. And then the last thing we can do is a little side to side motion. And then release when you're ready. Oh my. Slide the legs forward and then just give them a little swish.
Always remind you, these little movements are so good for lubricating the joints. Good thing to do before you get out of bed in the morning. Just move your knee a couple times and move your hips a little bit, and you get things hydrated. Let's twist. Today's twist, I'm going to take us I'm going to come down to the floor. If you're going to do this on your blanket, you can move to the corner of your blanket. A lot of times you can do this right on the floor, but it's personal. When I sit, I have this kind of like this angle here. See if you can mirror me. So if I started with my feet on the floor, I drop my knees down. And I feel lifted in this back butt cheek, and I want you to feel that. So we're going to place the hand on the thigh. We're going to lift the hip, the butt, and we're going to put the butt down. And as I lift my butt, what I'm doing is my hip is moving forward. My hip is moving forward. Feel that? Now let's just keep it going. So now I'm going to take that hand, I'm going to take it off my hip, and I'm going to bring it over to the opposite shoulder. And as I lift my hip, my back hand is on the ground. I'm just going to rotate my elbow around and then come back out of it. So the hip that is lifting, I have my hand on my hip. That hand is on the opposite shoulder. I'm going to lift my hip, and I'm going to guide my elbow around. I'm going to rotate, rotate, rotate. And then I'm going to come out. Let's do it 2 more times. Lift the hip first. Feel the pelvis. That hip goes forward. We're rotating the belly organs, turning all the way around. Now I want you to stay where you are in the twist, but turn the head back out of the twist. Hello, looking over that shoulder. Take the head back into the twist. Inhale, and as you exhale, you might be able to go a tiny bit further. And unravel. Okay. All right, feet on the floor. And drop the knees down to the side. So this in itself could be, a good practice. Just twisting here. So I'm going to drop my knee down, bring my hand to my hip, and I'm going to lift my butt up and down. So if you need a little something under your butt, if this is too deep of bend for your hips, just elevate yourself, put your blanket under that bottom cheek that is on the ground. We're just starting to notice, all right, yes, my butt lifts, my hip moves forward. I want you to feel that. And then I'm going to take it further. I'm going to take the hand that's on the hip and I bring it over to the opposite shoulder. The other hand behind me, you could be up on your fingertips. And we're just going to lift the hip, rotate around, take your elbow around. We're going to visit the twist, and then we're just going to come out of it. And we're going to do that a few times. So lifting the hip, elbow rotates around, and come out. This time as we go into it, we're going to stay in it. Let's rotate around, stay. I'm in my deepest twist, but I'm going to turn my head back over that shoulder like I'm looking back to see you. Hello. And turn the head back into the twist. Inhale, and as you exhale, you can use your hand that's on the floor to help you maybe go a little bit further. I can lean forward and come out nice and slow. And unravel. All right. We always say the forward bends for last because they are precarious. Okay, so let's start like this. I'm gonna have my legs forward
And if my hamstrings are really tight, I'm going to take the feet apart. If the backs of the legs are not on the ground, if you're sitting on the ground and your knees are poked up, you're going to do one of two things or both things. A, sit up on your blankets. B, bring a support in behind your knees. Which could look like this. And I'm going to press my legs down and pull the toes back. And I'm going to think about bending from the creases of the hips. So I'm going to draw the belly button in and I'm going to round forward, and I can stay very high or I can fold down. This is very personal and you have to be very mindful. If you have bulging and herniated discs, then I want you to stay up straight. You can even bring your hands behind you and just practice pressing through your heels, pressing your knees into your blanket, being up on the sit bones. If you have bulging and herniated discs, you're in this position. If you're free of those issues, folding forward. Noticing the sensations. Coming all the way up when you're ready. Take your time. If you're happy in that forward bend, you may linger. We are going to, I'm going to get slightly prepared for Shavasana so I don't have so much work to do at the end. So I'm going to bring my support in place. I am going to ask you to use a block. So, you know, we want to be loosey-goosey, but we also, the muscles need integrity. You know, they need strength, you need power, you need stability. So I want to end with some bridge poses. We're going to come down. I love the block between the knees because it makes it a little easier for the hamstrings. So take your time when you come down to the ground. Oh, the floor feels so lovely. With feet separated, hip width apart. What I want you to do is a little tucking and untucking. So I'm going to draw my belly in, feel the back flatten into the ground. And then let the pubic bone move away. Feel the lower back arch off the ground. Nice and slow. Draw the belly in, back flattens. Move the pubic bone away from your face, lower back lifts. You can add the breath, exhale, back flattens. Inhale, back lifts. Nice and slow. Maybe the movement is so big that you have movement happening all the way up to your head. You might feel your nose bobbing up and down. That's mobility. I hope we've done enough poses, forward bends, back bends, side bends, twists, that you're like, yeah, I'm moving my pelvis and the whole body is following along.
But now what I want you to do is pause, place your hands on your ribs, and see if you can keep your ribs very still and just move your pelvis. Now my head and my ribs are not moving. Light on the feet. Don't clench your butt. Oh my. Draw the belly in, back flatten. Let the back lift. Exhale, back flatten. Inhale, back lifts. 2 more times. Light on the feet, don't clench the butt. Now just go to neutral. Pausing in neutral. Find your block, bring it between your knees. Now from neutral, without tucking, from neutral, hold your block, press into your feet, send your knees forward, just lift your butt a little bit up off the ground, and then come down nice and slow. Let the butt relax. Stay in neutral. Press into your feet, hold the block, send the knees forward. My ribs are not, I'm not thrusting my ribs up to the sky. Press into the feet, send the knees forward. And down. So if you get up there and you feel pain or discomfort, this movement can be very, very small, just like all the other movements. All we're trying to do is engage the glutes, what I call the underbutt, the bottom part of your butt. So let's stay up there as I hold my block and send my knees forward. Really reaching my knees away from my shoulders, holding the block, and I feel like my feet are pulling in towards the shoulders, knees are going forward. Now let's just go down an inch and then go back up. And then down an inch and back up. Nice and slow, down an inch. And back up. Send those knees forward. Feel your heels pressing into the floor. Down an inch, up an inch. Now let's go all the way down. Touch the floor with your butt and go all the way up. All the way down. Just tap the floor with your sacrum all the way up. When you go down, when your butt goes down to the floor, notice you still have a lumbar curve. Last one, go up. You're welcome to stay there and breathe and hold. And when you've had enough, lower all the way down. Take that block out. Let's swish it away. Feet wide, arms wide. Both knees to the right. And then both knees to the left. And if you like, if it feels good for the shoulders, just start to move the hands and arms a little higher overhead. As you move the knees. And see if you can notice closing your eyes, turning the head the opposite direction that your knees are going. Noticing your waist. That's really been our theme today. Because we want this contralateral movement of walking. When your foot goes forward, the opposite shoulder goes forward. Oh, I'm even getting lots of change and my ankles are cracking. Long through the waist. Think about long through the waist. One more time or two. Start to move the arms down. And when you feel complete, pausing in the center.
And then do what feels right for you. I'm going to bring my knees to my chest, but maybe you want to slide your legs out long, stretch it out, or bring the knees in, or both. As I hold my knees into the chest, I can rock a little side to side. You can always hold behind the thighs and take your feet up towards the ceiling. Oh, happy baby. Your arms are long enough, grabbing hold of your feet. All right. And we are ready for Shavasana. So I hope you will give yourself the time to settle in with us. If not, this is a good time to roll to your side and pause. And then notice how you feel when you get up and walk around and move around. We're going to hunker in a little longer. Now is when you want to put your socks on if you took them off for some reason. Get warm. And I'm going to add a blanket for the breathing practice. I'm going to do the long, skinny blanket down the length of the spine. So, I'm going to take the long blanket and I'm going to zigzag it. I don't like it rolled. I like it zigzagged because then it's nice and firm and it's supporting the spine. So see how wide that is? Oops. And when I put this blanket down, I'm going to take the back part of the blanket, I'm going to tuck it under. That's going to be for my head. And my butt goes on the floor. Be sure that your feet are not dangling in the air. And we get in by bringing the feet. I make sure my feet are touching my support. My top blanket is under my knees. And this blanket, I'm not sitting on it. It is for my lower back. It is going to come right into the curve of the lower back. And we're going to do the breathing practice today, where we're going to create a box breath. We're going to create equal inhale, pause, exhale, pause. And we're going to go for the count of 3. Covering your eyes, supporting your wrists if you like. Noticing how the heart, chest, ribs, and lungs feel open. Forehead is a little higher than your chin. And I'll guide you through, I'll talk you through a few rounds of breath, and then I'll leave you on your own. We're going to inhale for 3, hold for 3, exhale for 3, hold for 3. And be gentle with yourself and gentle with the breath. We have prepared the body well for this. Let it be easy. It's not a race. I'm not trying to be perfect. We begin. Inhale, 2, 3, pause, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, pause, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3,
pause, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, pause, 2, 3. On your own, inhale, keep it going. We're not trying to breathe the longest breaths ever. We are creating a sameness, a samavriti, a sameness in the breath. This creates a calmness, helps us bounce back from stressful situations. Noticing the feeling of the breath in your lungs. Let it be easy. Notice the softening that happens on the exhale. Enjoy the pauses. Yoga says it's in the pause that you get a glimpse of your true self. Stillness. Peaceful. One more round of breath. And then noticing your breath as it returns to a natural rhythm. And if you have the blanket behind your spine, do you want to keep it there or take it out? Do you need to cover up or make any adjustments? How could you be more comfortable? And we begin noticing the body. Let's begin down in the feet. And notice your right foot. Noticing all of your toes. The bottom of your right foot, your footprint. The tops of the toes and the top of the foot. The whole right foot. the right ankle, the shin and the calf, your right knee, the back of the knee, the right thigh, the right side of the right hip, right side of your waist, right side ribs, right underarm. Noticing your right hand, noticing all of your fingers, your thumb, the right wrist, lower arm, right elbow, upper arm, right shoulder. Notice the right side of your neck, the right side of your head, notice the right eye, your right ear, the right ear hearing sound. Be aware of the whole right side of the body, from your head to your foot. And shift that awareness to the left foot, finding your left toes, wiggle them if you need to. The whole left foot, the footprint, the tops of the toes, the top of the foot, the left ankle, lower leg, shin and calf, the left knee, the left thigh, the left side of your left hip, waist, ribs, left underarm, left hand, fingers and thumb, left wrist, lower arm, left elbow, upper arm, left shoulder, left side of your neck. Notice the left side of your head, your left eye, your left ear, the left ear hearing sound. Be aware of the whole left side of the body. Noticing the whole body. And as you take a breath, noticing the breath expanding into the whole body. Breathing into the spaces all the way down to your feet. All the way out into your hands. Be aware of the whole body resting. Outside and inside. Letting go. Resting in the feeling of letting go.
Notice that you're breathing. Coming back, feeling thankful for your body. When you're ready to roll to your side, curl up cozy on one side and pause. And from this inward quiet place, setting an intention for your day. Not so much about how much you're going to accomplish, but what part of you shows up today. My intention is to be calm, patient. What is your intention? How will you show up? Forgiving, kind, compassionate, gentle, all of the above. Namaste.